Okay, I'm off the record, and thank you very much. And I'll wait to hear from you so that we can schedule your exam.
Okay, but just the one thing, I mean, should we plan on like an hour, 2 hours? What?
Oh, I would set aside 8 hours because that's what I'm allowed to do.
8 hours. Oh, Jan, you thought this what was a ass whooping? Now imagine 8 hours. Now it will be faster if you're truthful, but we all know that Jan Owens is mentally unable to be truthful.
8 hours?
Well, that's, like I said, Ms. Naylor, it's all going to be dependent upon how you answer questions, right? If you take up a lot of time, pontificating and going off on tangents, then it's going to be long. If you want it, when I ask you a yes or no question and you answer it sincerely and just answer the questions as I ask them, then it'll go quicker. But I am entitled to examine you for up to 8 hours.
Okay. I think my phone may be about to die here.
All right. Well, we're off the record and we're concluding this matter. So I'll wait to hear from you for dates that you're available.
Understand one other thing, please. Some of the answers that I was also trying to give were to, appease the crowd on the line so that they would not be going further.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now she's blaming us again. She's claiming she lied. More or less, what she's doing is claiming to the trustee attorney that she lied to her so that we wouldn't find out stuff. We will. You filed for bankruptcy. Public records.
Well, that shouldn't color. Your testimony should just be truthful and forthright, and you shouldn't be trying to change what you say or how you testify based on how people perceive it. So that's not really a good excuse for some of the evasiveness I saw here today. I think that one thing I do want to point out is that since you still have that GoFundMe up, you have to understand that while you're in this bankruptcy case, all of those funds become part of the bankruptcy estate. So you cannot, you really have to understand that once you filed this bankruptcy petition, you opened up yourself to the entire, mandate of the bankruptcy code and the procedures that you have to follow, right? You can't just file bankruptcy to stop a foreclosure and then do whatever you want. So you have this GoFundMe. If you have funds coming in, those all need to be set aside, and you shouldn't be paying any creditors. You shouldn't be paying anything that is not a necessary living expense for just you and your husband. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Since the court hasn't allowed you, Jen, to pay for Laura, you can't pay for Laura. No gifts, no food, no nothing.
Did you hear what I said, ma'am?
I did.
Okay. So I want you to be mindful, because if the case gets converted to Chapter 7, any funds that came in while this case was in Chapter 11 will have to be turned over to the Chapter 7 trustee. Okay?
But there are no funds.
I can't understand you. You sound like you're in a tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me see.
Yeah.
No, I can't really hear you.
Yeah.
Nope.
There can be a clawback.
I'm sorry. All of the funds were gone a year and a half ago.
Well, I'm just talking. Yeah. I'm talking about the fact that the GoFundMe page is still up. So you still might be getting, and I could see, just anybody in the public can see who's donating and when. So, if there's money that still comes in, I don't know if people are still donating. If they are, I'm just telling you that money that's coming in from that source, you need to make sure that every dollar that you have of income into your account needs to be accounted for, because you're in bankruptcy now. I just want you to be aware of that. Okay? Right.
So you're saying it might be smart to just close the GoFundMe and then not leave it up there?
I think that's for you to decide. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm a little confused as to why you still have it up when you said you said that it was to get yourself out of debt so you didn't have to file bankruptcy, but yet you're in bankruptcy anyway. So it seems like it doesn't seem to align with what your stated purpose of the GoFundMe was, but that's for you to decide.
Right. Okay, so just so that I know when we do the other hearing, what specific areas are you wanting to further explore?
Well, clearly we need to sit down with and look at the schedules you filed in the Chapter 13, the schedules you filed.
Oh, wait a minute. Jan thinks that since off the record, she thinks this is no longer public. That is why she's all of a sudden really, really forthcoming. She's really, really talkative. She's asking questions. She thinks we don't hear this.
Originally in this case, and then the schedules that were docketed yesterday. And we need to go through them. We're going to go through them line by line, and you're going to see, I want you to see the stark difference in the testimony under oath, because it's pretty apparent to me that you made false statements under oath. I mean, let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that the current amendment filed yesterday is the truth and nothing but the truth. Well, then your prior statements were clearly false. So that's number one. I need to go through those. And I need to go through the accounting with you, because it just doesn't make sense. You know, you were ordered by the court to give me an accounting. It's not even like I asked for it. The court ordered this on the court's own decision. And yet you gave me something that I thought I could rely on. And then today you were kind of all over the place, not really admitting that what you gave me was a true accounting of how you expended the GoFundMe money. So I need to delve into that, because I'm not sure what purpose that was, that you gave me that document if I couldn't rely on it to constitute an accounting of how you spent the GoFundMe money. And clearly I can't, because one of the items was the Macy's, and you're saying that, no, that was not part of how we used the GoFundMe money, but that's what your accounting says.
Right. But and again, like I say, I was just trying to be able to say that, look, this money had gone out. And, yeah.
Well, I don't know what you were doing, but it's clear that this lacks any reliability, because you're not standing by what it is titled. You're calling it an accounting of GoFundMe funds, but now you're saying that's not what it is. So I don't, that's a little bit frustrating. So I guess what I would ask, and I will inform the court if this isn't done, I would ask that you fix this and give me a proper accounting of exactly how the $132,528.36 of GoFundMe funds was expended.
Okay. But again, just for my own information, I mean, please understand, I'm not trying to be contrary or anything like that. But since this was spent long before we filed the Chapter 13, and long before we filed the Chapter 11, I don't understand why the GoFundMe, is pertinent at this point.
Okay, I understand that you don't understand. I don't know what to tell you about that. It is. I just don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, it's relevant. One of the things that actually concerns me is that you misappropriated GoFundMe funds and misled donors, and that opens yourself up to potential claims. So we have to know whether or not the creditor class, whether you've properly identified all potential creditors. Because
in what sense? I mean, again, please, understand, I'm really not trying to be confrontational here. I really don't.
I understand you don't understand, but I think, and maybe for a minute, just think about this. If you look at the posting on the GoFundMe, there's a suggestion that there are funds needed for medical expenses and because you're having financial troubles. And I think that it would be fair to assume, most reasonable people would assume that funds would then be used for paying bills that are necessary for your day-to-day living, paying for food, utilities, phone, groceries, medical things. I don't think it's reasonable to assume that donors would know or expect that GoFundMe money is being used to pay Macy's credit card bills. I don't think so. And I don't think it's reasonable for people who give money through GoFundMe to think that their money is being used to fund life insurance or ADT home security systems. I think that
or paying Laura's defense attorney
is something I need to explore, because like I said, there's a potential claim out there, and we need to see the extent to which your schedules are accurate in terms of disclosing all potential claimants against you and Mr. Owens. That's just one.
But again, with regard to, like I say, the ADT thing, we have had death threats against us.
Well, that doesn't sound like that comes from the medical issues. It sounds like that might relate to what you call your smear campaign. And that's fine. You might feel like that's necessary. But my point, Ms. Naylor, is that I don't think it's reasonable to put out a call on GoFundMe that talks about your husband's medical ailments and then use that for home security system. That doesn't seem to be the kind of necessity. I mean, you said yourself in the accounting you gave me, you said itemized list of necessities. That's what you referred to it as. And I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that Macy's is a necessity, that life insurance is a necessity, that ADT home is a necessity. I mean, that just goes beyond what I think is reasonable.
Well, the ADT thing also, with regard to the medical alert, there is a sweetie.
Medical alert is $50 a month for a medical alert button. $50.
Please don't stand up. Huh?
Okay, I understand that you're trying to explain it, but it doesn't make sense to me. So, you're not addressing the Macy's or the life insurance. So the bottom line is that the judge wanted you to give me an accounting of the GoFundMe funds. She ordered it. So I feel that based on the court's order for that document, it is my obligation as a trial attorney for the U.S. trustee to fully examine the accounting. And that's what I was trying to do, but I was stopped because I was not able to fully examine it with you because you're basically denying what it is that you provided to me was an actual itemization of how you use the GoFundMe money. So we're going to have to get to the bottom of that in a setting where I can put in front of you your own documents. And then you could say, well, you're saying that, I don't see it. Well, we won't have that problem if you're in here and I'm putting papers in front of you. So, I mean, that's the best I can offer you in terms of an explanation as to why the GoFundMe is relevant. I mean, clearly the judge thought it was relevant. So if I were you, I would not question it anymore because the judge thought it was irrelevant enough to order that you provide me an accounting. Okay? Okay, Ms. Naylor? I'm not hearing anything in response. Okay. I'm assuming that you hung up.
I think your phone died.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's it. Then I'm going to hang up. Thank you all for joining us.
Okay, I think this is it. Unless there's a hot mic in the end. Miss Jaimo, maybe you should hang up too.